So welcome to a very quick tutorial on the Bair Hugger warming system. So the Bair Hugger warming system is used to maintain normothermia for our patients in the ITU. And the reason that we need to cover this lesson is because you'll be asked to use this out on deployments for patient safety. So this is going to be a very quick video because the Bair Hugger, if you don't use it already in your NHS trust, is a very intuitive piece of kit to use. So there are four options that you get with the Bair Hugger: is to turn it on and off, and to select the temperature that you require. So as with any piece of equipment, we're going to do our 373 checks and safety checks on the equipment. The things that do get damaged quite easily on this bit of equipment are the plastic straps, as seen here, it's snapped, and also the blue clip that usually goes around the hose that you would attach to the patient's bed chain. So looking at the hose, so there's no holes or slices in it, which is quite common, and no cracks in the casing, all 4 feet, and then there's no issues with the electrical wires. On the back, you can connect this to an IV pole using the clamp at the back or the side of the patient's bed. So as we turn it on, as we plug it into the mains, you'll see that the green LED comes on. It says main power. It's important to note that the Bair Hugger doesn't have a battery inserted, so it has to be attached to the mains power to be able to use it. To turn it on, just press the soft key, system on standby, and you'll hear it power up. What is also really important to know is that on the main top of the machine, it says total hours of unit operation, which can be seen as a screen here. Every 500 hours, the filter in the Bair Hugger needs changing, and that's your indicator to change the filter. So currently, I've turned it on so you can hear the airflow, but I haven't set a select temperature. So to select a temperature, you can have low, medium, or high. So low being 32 degrees, medium being 38, and high being 43. It does have an overheat alarm as well, but there's no way of testing this. It'll just tell you if it goes over your prescribed temperature. Moving on to the answers for the Bair Hugger, there are 2 answers that we can get with the Bair Hugger, and that's the Bair Hugger blanket and also the Bair Hugger IV warming system, intravenous fluid warming system. The IV fluid warming system is available for the Role 2 basic here at 16 Medical Regiment. However, we don't routinely use it over other pieces of equipment such as the Belmont Rapid Infuser and Hot Band Cooling System. The reasons for this is that it's attached to the hose, and the hose can fall off the bed. It falls off the bed quite readily, and which is attached to your patient IV access, which isn't ideal. But also, there's no way of regulating the temperature or identifying what temperature you're giving your patient's fluids. So looking at the consumables, so you just check that it's in date. And there's two ends and 2 sides to the warming system. So depending on what you're doing with your patient, if it's an ITU patient and you're not doing any interventions, you can have the head end, which is cut out at the top there, at the head end. And sometimes in theatres you'll do other stuff to protect your patient. So what's really important to note is that there's 2 sides to the blanket. There's a perforated side where all the little holes are, and then there's a plastic side where the air cells are. It's really important that when you put this to the patient, that the perforated side is patient side. It's directly on the patient as well, and you can have a blanket, a sheet that covers it, but no blanket. The blanket will reduce airflow and be a fire risk. So to put the blanket on, you just pop the base, and then on the hose there's an open and close valve as well. So that's closed. and that's open, and it says it on the side. So keep it open, push it through, and then close it off. So this is where the blue clip on the hose will attach to the blanket and the bed so that it doesn't fall off or float away. So now it's over my patient with the head end here and the foot end there, I can turn it on at my selected temperature. You'll see all the air pockets fill. And then underneath you'll be able to feel the heat coming out. It's also really important that if your patient has a transdermal medication patch, that this patch is moved, so the increase in temperature can actually make the transdermal patches transfer the drugs quicker. So as part of your ITU monitoring for your patient, it's really important that you look for cardiac arrhythmias due to being hypothermic or hyperthermic. It's also really important to make sure that your patient is assessed for pressure areas and that they're not leaning on the hose. This could cause issues, particularly over at the heel and ankle area. If you're finding that your patient's in arrhythmias, also have a look due to being hyperthermic or hypothermic, and take a look at the Bair hugger and alter it according to your patient's temperature and physiological needs. So to get rid of all the consumables, turn the Bair hugger off. It's really simple. So just turn it off at the power switch. Disconnect the hose. This Bair hugger blanket is disposable and one-time use. And then with the Bair hugger itself, you just use a mild detergent cloth, so the green or the yellow Clinell wipes, to decontaminate it and put it back into storage.